All right. I know this is really awkward, but just bear with me. This is one of the things about me. I'm so like last minute on things, and I don't know. This just thought came to me. I actually got a commission over the weekend to do a Godzilla piece. So I was like, you know what? I haven't done a Facebook Live in a long time, so I'm just slowly doing all this stuff and just trying to get it all done. Sorry about the shakiness. All right. I think that should be more than enough. Hey, if you're in there, you're checking this out, by all means, feel free to share. Really appreciate it. All right. Oh boy, here we go. It's been a minute. First off, hope everyone's doing well. Got my jams going, just a tad. I tend to like my jams blaring. I don't know about the rest of you out there, but I like when the beats are hitting hard and stuff. So the music's flowing and you know the art's getting done. So anyway, all right, let me first introduce myself. My name is Frankie B. Washington, and I am a commercial illustrator that's been in the working in the art industry freelance for 30 years and going strong. I've done every aspect that you can think. You know, I mean, I've done storyboard work, worked in animation, worked in film, worked in advertising, did some toy stuff, worked in trading cards, did sketch cards, novel, do book illustrations, did some magazine illustrations like editorial cartoons, and also comic books as well. And so, yeah, a jack of all trades. So anyway, I was contacted over the weekend to do a sketch card on one of my classic old school. Oh my god, I've had these for so long, and as I've said in previous videos, I don't like throwing stuff away. You know, I'm always about how can I recycle something. So I've had these cards forever, and until I run out of them, I'm not gonna get any new ones. So whoever commissions me, you're getting a piece of history here. So anyway, this is going to be a color sketch card. Sketch cards measure around 2.5 by 3.5, pretty much in your hand. You know, I tend to have some. I'm a collector of original art as well, so I have some Ultra Pro binders, which are fantastic, and which you're able to put these into these beautiful sleeves, or you can do them in standard like separate sleeves as well. But they're just a great way to own original artwork from various artists like myself. Cost effective sometimes. I mean, depending on if you're getting the card artwork on, say, official cardstock from, say, a particular set company. Well, yeah, it gets pricey because the collectability is clearly a lot more than, say, my own private card stock, unless somehow I become like super famous or whatever overnight. Then there you go. Good luck for that. But anyway, let's get this going. All right, so I'm going to start off with gestural drawing. Now, the Godzilla that my client wants is the old school 70s Showa Godzilla, which I'm a huge fan of. So anyway, when I start off, and hopefully the light's good. I have terrible lighting, but I start off with gestural drawing. Now, I would tell any artist out there that this was something that even when I went to art school, we did gestural, but it was until I started doing work in animation and I was working with a director that it really clicked how important gestural drawing is in, laying down artwork. It's so important because it helps give the fluidity of the character. You're not constrained to like that hard, because I know a lot of artists out there. It was funny, I was excuse me for jumping all over the place, but I was watching this amazing YouTube video done by Pete Samedi and Alterna, where he brought people on to do critiques of their work. And I remember as I'm working, that's the thing as a commercial illustrator, is that I'm working on multiple different jobs. So one job slides over, it's like an assembly line. One job comes in, I slide that over, and then I, finagle another one in, and, until it all eventually gets done. But anyway, as I'm listening to it, he had a young artist on who was showcasing some of his work. And I just felt like at that moment, as I'm watching this young artist drawing, I could see how originally how I was too. That sense of like you want to get ahead of the cart. Was that old saying, the horse in the cart, where you just want to get ahead of it, where instead you have to kind of get, sort of leave behind and then gradually build yourself up into it. And what happened was his work was just, he was trying to get that finished imagery. And the thing is that, the thing is that you need to build up on that before you get to any final. Well, you need gestural. And that was my first thing. And I was very happy that Pete mentioned it because it was so important. It was like, yeah, you got to get looser. Don't get so caught up in trying to complete this thing. Don't get caught up in the whole thing and trying to make something so, I got to be so perfect. What's perfect? I don't even know what's perfect. I don't consider my work as being perfect. It gets the job done. I look at that, that's pretty much my opinion on it, is that, I'm getting the job done. If the client's happy, then I'm happy. There's times when I will admit, I'll look at something and I go, I could have done something a little different there, but not to the point where I'll just beat myself over it and be like, oh man, I can't draw for the next 6 months or a year. No, that's crazy, man. No, I don't do that. I don't labor over it. It'll get done. Right. Right. So, I'll draw some things in here. But see, this Godzilla, the funny thing about this Godzilla was that he wasn't as big as the current Godzilla. So I have to kind of remember that. So make it so that the city, I draw a little city in here and stuff, and draw some fire. Have his head kind of turning a little bit. So anyway, gestural drawing is just to kind of help get the flow of it, pretty much. I'll draw a little tail there. Oh, before I forget, I just want to let everybody know as well too that I have a Kickstarter that's going to be coming. I'm working with Matthew Blair, someone who I've worked with for, we're going on 6 years now. And we have a Kickstarter that's going to be ramping up next month. And hopefully, I hope I did it right. I think in the description, if you look in my description, you'll find the links to my YouTube channel, and then also the link to the pre-launch page. So if you're interested, just to stay up to date, please, by all means, get notified. You can get notified through the Kickstarter link, and when we actually launch. It's fun because you don't know how many times I've had people sort of ask me, and I appreciate it too, about when I first did I would consider my really big. I had a couple of big moments in the comic book scene, but I would say my biggest probably was with Robot God Akamatsu with James, which was an amazing ride. It was such an amazing learning lesson, and so happy. I mean, people really came out. The fandom really was into it, and the idea of trying to jump on, not even jump on. Let me rephrase that. What me and James was doing was an homage. We were both two individuals who grew up watching a lot of the old school stuff, the old school super robots. James is a huge Transformers guy. Me, I'm more like Mazinga Z, or Dangard East is my favorite. Grenadizer, Ghetto Robo, or Star Avengers, as they were here stateside. So anyway, we were trying to create an homage to that kind of the characters and storytelling. We both loved the Shogun Warriors, which was done by Marvel, which was a toy brand by Mattel, but was done in comic book form by Marvel Comics. Fantastically done by Doug Munich, and written, and incredible artwork by my hero, Herb Trimpe, as an artist. And it really influenced my life. I can't even, it's in the forefront. Anytime anyone asks what influenced me, I would say Transformers, issue #1, that iconic picture of Radine sort of standing right there on that cover. That really drew me in. As someone who loves this genre, respects it and stuff, I think that in some degree, I'm not as knowledgeable. I wouldn't consider myself a super knowledgeable individual to everything kaiju and everything super robot. By no means. But I still have an admiration and love for it. And hopefully when people see my artwork, that comes out in it. I never wanted to, when I look at Eastern artwork, there's certain things I like about Eastern artwork, Japanese art, manga. And then there's certain things that I definitely, as someone, born here in America, American, I'm heavily influenced by American artwork, style of art drawing. I guess that's why I really admired Herb Trimpe's work on that, because he captured, he somehow made Godzilla a character in the, Godzilla, I'll say Godzilla, but also Shogun Warriors. He made them become part of the Marvel Universe in his style. Doug Moon's storytelling, of course, amplified that, but it just really, that team was just incredible. And so that's pretty much what me and James was doing. We were just saying, hey, look, we just want to try to bring that same kind of flair. The only difference was that we were going for a more black and white comic book and stuff, and people still liked it, And it was nice. It was nice fun. We got a graphic novel out of there. If you can find it, more power to you. But now, 2021, I'm moving on into a new venture where with kaijus and cowboys with Matthew, which is really has me excited. So in the sense of I feel like this is really gonna challenge me to do the best Frankie B artwork that I can do. Now, mind you, I'm not saying perfect. I'm just saying the best work that I feel, because that's all. That's all I really look for. Is trying to do the best I can, and you see what happens. I've worked hard on trying to alleviate the sense of putting, unnecessary pressure on things in my life. Got some buildings in here and stuff. And I see me, I'm always drawing debris and stuff like that. That's my little thing. Anyone who's seen my work, they know that I'm gonna probably, and most likely, sneak. It's always gonna be some cloud in there or something. Do you buildings kind of? All right. Now I gotta admit that if you're commenting, I have my iPhone angled in such a way that I can't see it, so I won't be able to comment. Although I do have the page open, but I don't know what the lag time is going to be on Facebook, so we'll see. It's kind of weird, man. I have not done one of these in a long time, since last year. All right, let's see. Got my tea out. All right, I'm already seeing some people. I just looked at my page. Cole, what's happening? James, what's up? Just got some of my tea over here. All right. So yeah. Oh, and thank you, Cole, for sharing that. Super Robots. I'm always so funny in putting stuff over there because I'm technically not drawing a robot. It says Super Robots, but then it's like I'm drawing Godzilla in here, Now the classic Godzilla is kind of weird, It's like I always kind of grapple because he had like this weird kind of loop in there.
You know what I mean? With the mouth, it's kind of like, it's weird kind of. Let me see if I fix it. And mind you, I'm actually looking at reference. It was crazy because I actually do have a Godzilla, what is it, encyclopedia, but everything's just so buried, man. And I'm just like, I don't want to waste time looking for that stuff, that book. So I just did a quick little, you know, thank God for Google search, and just printed out some quick reference. Take it from there. You know, I enjoy these kind of commissions, to be honest with you. It just makes me happy. It really fills me with joy, because you almost feel like, you know, yeah, clearly there's a lot of people who love superheroes, and I don't mind drawing superheroes. I mean, I worked on Upper Deck, and I did a lot of classic Marvel stuff, and that was cool, and I enjoy it, you know. But when you sit there and you go, man, there's a fandom for giant monsters and super robots and stuff like that. And I'm like, where's that fandom at, man? There must be collectors in there. That was always the one thing that used to drive me kind of nuts, because I'd be like, because as somebody who collects artwork too, you wouldn't see a lot of people that drew kaijus, especially at cons. I think that's why I kind of, when I did do shows, and you know, and now it's kind of iffy. I mean, I was kind of getting away from shows, and most likely, but nothing this year, clearly, but by next year we'll see. I'm very selective on what I'm going to be doing. You know, that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, when I was doing shows, that's how I sort of made a killing, because it'd be like the one dude who's sitting there, like literally, legitly, like drawing Godzilla. You know, there may be some artists up there who have, you know, images of Godzilla and stuff like that, but you know, to actually have somebody sitting there going, I'm drawing it, you know. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is just hit this with a little bit of kneaded. Just knock it back a little bit. This is a kneaded eraser, by the way, and I'm working with my, look at that, simple Papermate, with a Papermate pencil, and I'll most likely be using my Micron 01. This is my Pentel brush pen. I also have a Tombow marker pen. There you go. No, it's not a marker pen. It's like a marker. So I mean, I've always felt, I would tell any artist out there, if you really want to see some amazing art, you need to get the movie. You need to rent the movie Crumb. Crumb could draw with a ballpoint pen. I'm in awe. Like you know, I think that one of the things about it is it's your choice if you want to spend a lot of money on certain tools or whatever. I think that if you're a professional and stuff like that, then yeah, that's a great write-off, you know, if it helps you. But I'm in that old school where it's like, it's really your skill that sort of guides this. My hand guides this. You know, so I should be able to draw with just about anything. And I can, you know, I can pick up a simple big pen and still be able to crank out some solid art, you know. So always be aware of that. Now, what I'm gonna do, this is the treat. Since this is gonna be a full color, excuse me if my hand's going over here. I'm actually reaching for my, I have a whole set of Statler, what are they called? Statler Tri Plus fine liners. I looked on these. Like I have another big one. I'm one of those people where when I used to do my, when I used to work for a lot of card sets and stuff, I was doing stuff like, you know, I wanted to show people's energy powers and stuff like that. But I didn't want to do a hard line. I didn't want to do like hard black line and then do color and stuff. So I was like, okay, I want to do color when they're shooting their beams and stuff like that or whatever. So I started, you know, getting into doing colored markers, the renderings. So in this one right here, I'm gonna bang, bang, boom. And like I say, it's when I tell people, I'm like, if you know, if you truly want to commission and get like a really good price for some original artwork, sketch cards are the way to go. I think sometimes people who might not be, you know, hardcore art collectors may not have a real strong understanding of like when you come at somebody like me and you see some of the pieces I've done and they're like 8.5, no, excuse me, even 8.5 by 11, but even like 11 by 17, 11 by 14, that's going to be costly. You know, I would hope that you have an understanding of that, you know. And just any kind of understanding. Even when I've commissioned artists to do artwork, I've always had understanding like, okay, if I'm asking for a bigger piece, then I'm going to be definitely spending a lot more money. That's just a given. There's no real big for that. Now it's just trying to figure out, what the rate's going to be. But I tell you, if you're interested, these are the best thing I would say. Economic ways, probably get sketch cards. They're great. They don't take up a lot of room. I can't wait for the. I did some artwork on the Ultraman set. That's man, it's super successful. Congrats to Richard Parks, man. That set, yeah, it's got a ton of really amazing artists on it, and it's just doing really good. I mean, it's just a sign of the times. It's really exciting that something like that's doing so well. It just shows you. Hopefully, it shows that this genre has some leg room. It always has, though. I mean, I'm a New Englander, so I'm sure many people remember Force 5. That used to come on. Force 5 used to come on Channel 25. Yeah. And that show. Woo. And then I think same one was what was it? Star Blazers. Let me do a thing, see if people are commenting. But yeah, Star Blazers was another one. Then Global Tech. Ah, Cole, you're gonna be blushing. Good man, Connor. I hear you, man. It's all about skill. It's all about the skill, man. It's like he says, it's like with model painting, I don't tend to buy expensive material. There's always cheap alternative. Of course. One of the things about it, again, I've been doing freelancing for 30 years. So you have to become somewhat smart and in the level of business. Now, I didn't go to business school, but, there's the real world business of common sense. You got to start thinking about expenses and be like, yeah, this costs X amount of dollars. And do I really need that? How can I, as a freelance artist, my major thing is trying to find out ways to enhance my speed. Because if I enhance my speed, that means that I can enhance my my client list. Because you get to get more clients. That's how you survive. But in doing so, you got to be able to maximize your speed, but also maintain quality of work. Because let's be honest, clients want quality work too. They're not just hiring you just to do a quick little scribble and stuff and be like, all right, there you go, boom. So I always had to try to find ways to maximize, cut down my expenditures, and maximize what I'm doing so that I can achieve the goal. And the goal is to ensure that that I'm giving a quality product, and that's what it is. All right. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm seeing some comments in there. Thank you so much. Please, by all means, please share. And if you're an artist, hope you're enjoying it. Starting off. Clearly, if you're already in the game, then what's up? I've never been a person who that would get all like crazy and whatever. I will say I'm competitive, but I love the fact of working and looking at other artists' work and stuff. Not in the sense of comparing, but just in the sense going, man, how this cat get do this and that, and it gets me all worked up, and I'm like, yeah, man, but worked up not in a not angry way, but just jazzed to be like, oh, I gotta produce some work, man. This cat's doing this and this, I would get that excitement. So it's kind of weird to you see people who get kind of frustrated or toward other artists and stuff. That's so unnecessary. I look at stuff like that's one of the things. If you're a freelance artist or whatever, it's time. It's a time killer. You're wasting so much time on something that's irrelevant. Almost, what I almost was gonna say? I almost was gonna quote the Dune: "Fear is the mind killer," and it is. It truly is, man. All right. Once again, I just want to thank everybody for coming in, and this was very spontaneous because that's who I am. I'm a spontaneous guy. Sometimes I get the feeling, and I'm doing some of my chores and getting ready to bang out some artwork, and I was like, oh, I haven't done a Facebook Live in a minute. So, let's see if anybody's around. Somebody around, and hey, hang with Frankie B. All right. GODZILLA. All right. I think I wrote briefly. I'm always a person who I really don't, I'm so old school when it comes to giving, like, that whole thing. People say, oh, reviews on stuff and whatever. I just say, well, I enjoyed something or I didn't enjoy it. I will say, as a fan of the genre of kajus and giant robots stuff, I was very, very happy with Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm just happy with the whole MonsterVerse universe and what they've done. They've done a tremendous job, just overall, for all of us. For us who are, right now, me and Matthew are we're indie guys trying to do our own kaju kind of story for our Kickstarter next month. And for anybody else out there that's trying to do stuff, they're definitely, this helps us immensely. So I got love for it. I think it did a tremendous job, and I really hope that they can expand upon the universe, keep it going. Even if they don't even work with Toho, I think that they were smart enough in developing their own characters that I think that they could. I think people could you may hear some little groans here and there, but I think that they could definitely get through it, and they can introduce some of their newer characters or whatever. I'm all about original characters. I mean, people tend to forget that back in the 50s, America was creating a lot of American, like, kajus, and they were horrifying. I mean, I was just thinking the other day. I mean, as you think about the character, the Blob, isn't that a kaju, right? I think the Blob's a kaju. I had this crazy idea. I was like, man, I wonder how Godzilla would fare against the Blob. Especially a creature that, it doesn't do good against cold, but he doesn't bother too much. That'd be interesting. But yeah, I mean, oh, by the way, I'm using a Tombow. I guess it is a brush pen, right? Small little brush pen. Yeah. It's just something that I kind of lucked up on. One of those things you're like, I just happened to see it. I was like, I'll try it out. I mean, I'm like a hoarder. I got like a ton of different, like, pens and stuff from just over the years. The same thing like pencils. Even like this non-photo blue pencil is a, I don't even know if they even make these anymore. Prismacolor copy, non-photo blue. I just had it sticking around. For the longest time, it's like I go through these phases. Even when I was in art school, I was just one of those artists where I would get so, I get kind of antsy if I'm stuck doing one thing. I knew that when I graduated, I remember saying that, like, I was like, my school was a 3-year school, and I said that afterwards. I said, anything else I'm gonna learn, the world's gonna teach me, and I was so adamant on that, and it was true. I wanted to learn from people that were in the trenches and out there, because I felt like that kind of information is invaluable, especially when you're put in situations where you're working alongside people like directors or art directors or creative directors, the good stuff. How's that coming along? Come on, people, I know you're out there. Let me know. And if you haven't checked out my YouTube page, by all means, go on by, subscribe. I'm always doing updates on there. I got a ton of videos on there, so by all means, enjoy and pass the word. All right. Yep, see, look at that. What got me into doing more with sketch cards, because when I originally got into sketch cards, I didn't know anything about sketch cards. It was like, I think it was like 2009. I was contacted by Stephen Frank via Facebook. That's why I'm always like, when I look at artists and they're like, I don't know, but I'm like, just post your artwork. Show your work. You don't know how many, you don't know who's looking, you don't know who's watching, but you gotta be consistent about it. You can't just post one piece and then give up. You gotta constantly post. But anyway, at that point I was, posting. I've always treated the internet in a sense that it's no different than when I had to lug around my portfolio and go to different agencies and stuff, and and do my little song and dance to try to get some gigs. It's no different. I treat it like that. Like even my YouTube is just a glorified, pretty much a glorified portfolio. It's cooler because it's videos and you're actually seeing action, you're actually hearing my voice and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't even know. I think I still have my portfolio case somewhere. The big cases. I don't even know if I doubt any artists are running around with big portfolio cases anymore. But anyway, what was I? I'm losing my thought. Okay. Oh, what happened was, he saw my artwork. He sent me a private message, and at that point too, I mean, I was doing a lot of advertising stuff too. I was still working, and I have to admit, working in corporate, you make money. It's really good money. It really is. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. I think it's almost like when I tell people, it's like you're dealing with the adults and they're just like, all right, how much is your rate? Get the job done. We need you to do the work. Boom, boom, boom. And that's how it is. Just quick, get the job done. If you slam that, you do a great job. You crush that deadline. Then guess what? You get rewarded with more calls. And that's how it is. Straight. There's no emotion, none of this like feelings or none of that stuff. It's just boom, 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 boom. This is it. You're hired to do a gig. You do the gig and you move on. Just like, I always tell people it's just like any contractor. Like you go to your mechanic. You say what's up, how you doing? They come out and they say, okay, boom. This is how much it's gonna cost. Plumber, same thing. This is gonna cost you this. Boom, boom, boom. And you're not sitting there having any deep philosophical conversations with them. You just, you're getting the job done, and they understand that and they respect it, and you say, okay, all right, I trust that you're professional enough that you're going to give me what I need, and you move on. So anyway, that's how my life was. So when he contacted me, and I'm always wary. I'm not going to lie, I'm wary because you get people who contact you and it's just like, oh, okay, here we go. And he was like, no, he's like, I got this company and I'm doing sketch cards. And I was like, sketch what? I was like, what? I never heard anything about sketch cards. He's like, yeah, these are small little, original pieces of artwork and there's a community for this. And I was like, community? Oh, by the way, I tend to use my, these pretty cheap rulers that I got, but I do have straight edges. And actually, you know what? I'll bring up my straight edge. I'm gonna be nice because this is for the hardcore hardcore artist fam out there. Sometimes I just use these, but these can be a hit and miss because if ink spills underneath, I'm gonna have a happy little accident. So this would be called, it's a triangle, but we call it straight edge. My teacher used to be like, oh, go grab your straight edge, Frank. And I'd be like, okay, all right, I'll grab my straight edge. I also still have my old T-square. I think it was T-square. Yeah, it's still hanging up on my wall. I do not use it. It's just, it's just one of those relics from when I was in school. But, so anyway, he was like, yeah, he was giving me the whole layout on what sketch cards were. And so I said, okay. I said, all right, let me just see then, Not a lot of money in it. But again, like as I said before, I've always been a person where in my mind I was like, you know what? I want to do as much stuff as I can in the art industry. Let me stress that. The art industry, which is so much more bigger than just, you say comic, someone says comic books and I go, okay, well that's comic books, but comic books is this one, niche piece of this vast other industry, and the thing is that I wanted to be able to, have a portfolio that would represent a lot of different things. I don't know, I had it in my head. I was like, I wanted so that if somebody was like, hey, look, I'm looking for someone to do, toy designs or whatever, then I can go, poof, there you go. I did that. Or like if somebody said I did gaming stuff, so I was definitely I took chances. I took a lot of chances. I remember one of my teachers who I ended up working with once said that. They said, Frank, and he was hardcore, and I loved him, man. He was just like, Frank, he said, what's the worst that can happen? What, they say no? And he got me into that, and it was true. What's the worst someone can say? Say no? then you move on. He was like, he said, don't ever think in this small, the small picture of like, you know, like that, oh my God, this person said no, and oh my God, my career's over. No. We're in a global market. You know, he said, you just have to find the clients. The clients are out there. There are people out there. You got to find them. And lo and behold, yeah, he's true. He was right. You know, that's how I got into sketch cuts. I just was posting stuff, and then this person, Stephen Frank, saw my work and said, hey, I think you could be a good fit for this. And so I was, you know, I got into sketch cuts. And the first set I think I worked on was Archie. I remember that one. It was for Archie. And then the second one I think was Greatest American Hero. Oh, that was a really fun one. I was a huge fan of that show. And then after that, it just was like, I think I did Lady Death with Stephen Frank. The big ones for me was Voltron. I actually he did a sketch cut set, and then he did a coffee table book, which I still have. I don't know if I still have a few copies of that, in which I got some artwork in there, double page spread. And then he did a King Kong one. I think it was King Kong of Skull Island, if I'm correct. That was a sketch cut set. And then he worked on Hack and Slash, so I did some Hack and Slash stuff. Lady Death, I know I did some Lady Death stuff. And then the big one for him was his company's Zombies versus Cheerleaders, in which I actually did a comic book story in the very first issue. Very first issue of Zombies versus Cheerleaders, #1, I have a story in there. Well, he wrote the story, I did the art. Let me just say that. So yeah, and then from there I bounced on to other different places. I did some stuff for Dynamite for their sketch card set. I think that I don't know if that was through, I think that was through Bregent, maybe Bregent Marketing. There used to be a company that was around. Bregent was one where I did I don't forget, they got the Transformer license to do sketch cards. That was like heaven, man. That was heaven. The only other one I would say that I'm still kind of like, it pains me, but somehow I missed working on the official Godzilla set. You sit there and you go, why isn't a guy, it's like I always say, a person who loves drawing drawing kaijus, why is that person not on there? And it's why, you know, that it always pains me. I would have killed that set. I would have. Because I'm so enthusiastic about it. I would have killed it. But anyway, when I got the chance to work on the Transformers, that was fun. Like, those are some amazing cards. I challenged myself to work on, to do the Bayformers, and because I was like, let me try. And it's funny too. Here's another side little story. At the time, I was working for this agency, and they actually got they were doing some work. They were doing some work on the first Transformers movie. And they actually contacted me just because they knew that I was into doing robots and stuff. And I'll never forget it. I remember, because at first I didn't know what it was. And then they were like, oh, yeah, this is a project, and we think you'll be good for it, that kind of thing, through the art bar. I said, all right. So I go in, and then all of a sudden they're just like, boom, they put this massive Bible down, and I'm looking at the Transformers, how they look, the Bayformers. And it was like, oh my God, it was like the Holy Grail. Like, of course I couldn't take anything out. But it was like, yeah, we need you to draw these. You know, we're gonna do some layouts and stuff, and pitch to the big clients and stuff like that. But it was phenomenal. It was heaven. It was like heaven opened up. There was a light that just shined, and I was like, oh, it was so exciting. Oh man, I was looking at all, and this is way before they were like showing stuff, you know, that was popping up. I was looking at how Optimus Prime looked and all that stuff. So yeah, I had there was some great moments. So anyway, back on the sketch cards. I worked on that Transformers set, and I'll never forget that. That was crazy, because I think at that time I might have been doing cards for Sunstone Games and their Colossal Kaiju Combat and other stuff. Let me just stress that, because I think sometimes people don't understand like the level of like what I'm doing. Is that I think I was probably working on 2 major gigs and then some other side gigs, and it was crazy. It was crazy, but I wanted to get those Transformer cards. You know, I was just like so excited that I just was like, okay, I guess I won't be sleeping. You know, I've changed a lot since those days though. I've gotten older. I turned 50 last year, and my mindset is so much different than when I was younger. that I'm much more conscious of my own wellness, mentally, physically, and so I just, I'm much, I'm just not into that whole frame of mind of just trying to, not get sleep and not take care of myself. So, but anyway, it was definitely some memories on that one, and I was happy. Ideally, I wish that looking back, because at first I thought it was mandatory to draw the Bayformers, and but I wish that I had drawn more of the G1, which I love. I'm a G1 former fan, especially in the animated show when it came out. I remember reading some of the Marvel stuff. I never followed any of the UK stuff, so I always tell people, like, the kind of fan I am, it's probably not going to be the level like when someone's hardcore. Like, they're hardcore fans, like people that can just recite everything. Like, they'll issue such and such, and I just look at them with this look on my face, like, wow, dude. Oh, okay, all right, I'll take your word for it. But there's certain things I do know. I mean, I'll have to admit, when say for instance, when I was watching Avengers and stuff, I was there's certain things that spark memory. I had these memory sparks where I'll be like, oh man, I remember that issue, such. I may not even remember the number of the issue, but I can remember it visually. I always tell people that my memory is pretty crappy when it comes to names, but boy, I remember. I see images. I see, like, things that things that pop in my head. And I go, oh yeah, I remember that issue. I remember that feeling that I had when I was watching it, and I'm not watching it, reading it, or something like that. So that's what I kind of experience. So I've been very fortunate, got to work on some Marvel IP stuff. That was kind of cool. And it's funny, like, when I was doing Marvel sketch cards, I purposely was like, I broke out my Marvel handbook, and I said, I really wasn't going to be doing any, like, the new I knew that a lot of the other sketch artists were going to be drawing a lot of new people, and I'm like, nope, I'm going to show my age. I'm old school. What is that? I don't even know. Is that like the gold? Is that? No, I'm not golden age. That'd be silver age, bronze age, right? The 80s, 70s, and 80s. What is that? Is that bronze age? Come on, help me out, people. I think that's bronze age. I'm in that area right there. That's what comics books influenced me. I always feel like that kind of artwork and just storytelling was the apex of the industry, in my opinion. Coming in from the 60s into the 70s, and then right smack into the 80s. That's the kind of artwork that really highly, highly, to this day, influences me. We're kind of hoping that to sort of do that same thing with kaijus and cowboys. The response has been really good. It's funny. I remember saying before, and I said in other interviews too, where my dream when I first saw Creature Double Feature was a show. It was like how can I say it? It was a show block that used to come on WLVI 56. And oh my god, I remember, like, I would try to get my chores done. My mom was always like, get your chores done, boy, before you can play. And I hold that to heart. I mean, literally, I can't play unless I get my work done. So she would be like, get your work done, and then you can watch your movies. And my mom was always like, she would do stuff like, boy, those are just men in suits, right? And I'm like, Ma, no, yes, I know, but please don't tell me that this is, but that's how it was, man, But watching Creature Double Feature, I remember that was the whole thing with Godzilla, where I was like, oh man, I just want to be that. Like, what was that job? You get to draw these crazy creatures and stuff. I want that job. That was always my whole thing. Concepting. I love concepting. Concepting is it's the energy, man. How's it looking, people? Man, I'm flying through this. Connor, yeah, no other version to my knowledge is that it is probably my favorite. Well, actually, that's untrue, Connor, because if you look at the old school Showa era of Kong, he was actually pretty intelligent. Yeah, I tell anybody now that you should definitely look at some of the other stuff, the old school stuff. That's where a lot of stuff you're seeing now, they got a lot of stuff from that old school stuff, and it's fun stuff. You know, but I think the thing about it, you can't go in it expecting levels of special effects like today. You know, you got to look at it for what the you know, the time and stuff like that. And I guess that's how I am. You know, remember, I'm one of those people who grew up in that time with Cisco and Ebert. Cisco and Ebert to me were like the apex of reviewers. Getting reviews on movies and stuff like that. And then I would say just beneath them, if not on another level, probably same equal would be, I don't know if anybody, my peeps out there, remember Dana Hersey on Channel 38, the movie Loft? Come on, I know my people remember that. Oh, that guy. Anytime it's like, sometimes on YouTube, I'll you know, get up the movie Loft sound, just a sound. It's something, it just happens. It was such a warm feeling. Like when he would come on and his voice, the way he talked, he would make you feel passionate about whatever the film was. That's and the same thing like with Cisco and Ebert. They truly were passionate about it, and they would stay so objective about it. Like they wouldn't just come in and be like, "Well, I just hate this and whatever." No, they'd be like, "Well," because I remember when, I don't know if anyone remembers the time when they I think they reviewed what was it, the Gamera. You remember the Gamera Legacy films that came out? That was the late '90s. Well, I think they actually did a review of it, and it was the most like, oh my, it was just beautiful because they didn't come in there with this thing going, oh, this is just sloppy stuff and whatever. They came in as the way I imagine like reviewers should be. They saw the material for what it was and said, okay, well, there you go. And they actually enjoyed it. They were like, well, yeah, this was amazing. It was great, you know. And they still had their opinion about it, but it wasn't tainting it. All right. So anybody who knows me, this is where I'm gonna come in and say that the influence of anime and manga, this is where I felt like the influence. But even though this was something also that a lot of Western comic books that where I grew up would have, where you would have these what do you call them? Excitement lines, brush lines. I don't even know what the full terminology of. I just know that this is if you see a Frankie B piece, most likely you're going to see with these kind of things. This is me because I love them. I'm in that frame of mind that I want to make every piece sort of exciting. So you need these to kind of pump it out. There you go. Nice little brush work. I think I will admit, I am due to start doing some actual inking back with my regular brushes too. I love these Pentel brush pens, are amazing. They're incredible. They're fast, easy. But I always say, like, as an artist, is that you should always test yourself, and you should always, if you feel a little rusty on something, go back and tweak it up. I mean, think of it in terms of a mechanic. Look at what mechanics now. You got mechanics who were working old school on vehicles from, say, like from the 80s and whatever, and now they're doing they're like technicians now. So everyone has to kind of you gotta reevaluate your skill set, and it's okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, with the Hollow Earth stuff, there's so much potential. Oh yeah, Connor, most definitely, yes. And I think again, I think they had that in the back of their mind. I just think that they were sort of waiting, because again, I worked in production studio. A lot of fans have to understand that there's a lot of moving parts for these movies. I know that when you get the final product and it's like all packaged up and everything, you go, oh man, it's just like comic books. It all looks nice and whatever, but there's stories behind all that stuff before it gets to that point. It's almost like a chef, a baker or something. Before you get that final beautiful piece, food or whatever it is, it had to go through a journey, and the thing is that you in some degree you have to understand and almost respect that journey for you to truly appreciate the whole meal. I mean, I do. I said before in one of my videos, I said, am I the only person that just sits and looks at the credits and marvel at the fact that so many artisans and so many creative people are actually working? I don't know. Is that like a weird thing? I mean, I'm somebody who's worked in the industry. So maybe that's just something about me. Like I can look at that and go, my brothers and sisters that are, actually making a living, getting paid to do what they love, so that somebody can sit in the theater and be it 2 hours long or whatever to appreciate that. And yeah, yeah, you may not like something, but hey man, just thinking that fact that a lot of people got to work just to have that moment. I appreciate it all. That's all. I mean, I think that with the MonsterVerse and all that stuff, I want to see more stuff. Shoot, I would love to see if people really like Kajus and Cowboys, and which is also, let me just also add a big shout out to Second Sight Publishing, because it did get picked up. I want people to know that too. Kajus and Cowboys did get picked up, so it will be a regular series through Second Sight Publishing. Excuse me, Bradley Golden. And I'm gonna make sure Mark Roberts. Oh, I told you I got crap in my memory. So that, I think that's planned for 2022. So ideally with the Kickstarter actually is I've already done the book. We already did the book, which I think we talked about. It's going to be like a 0 issue, so a special one for the Kickstarter. But then pretty much the rest of this year I'm going to be working like a madman. I'm already working on character designs and creatures and stuff like that, and cowboys and different ones. I mean, Matthew's really pushing himself on this, and he's getting really crazy, and I'm loving it, man. This is where I love it. I get excited. All right, here's my Signal. What is it? Oh, here it goes. Right here. Okay. Uniball makes a Signal white gel pen. I must admit that I wish I had this a long time ago when I was doing sketch cards. At that time, I was using Pro White, and again using my brushes. And Pro White is still good. I think I still have some Pro White. Oh, it's like hard as rock, but I still keep it. But this makes it much more easier. Look at that. Anyway, I was gonna say with sketch cards that when I first got into sketch cards, there was that point where I was like, man, I don't know, man. I was seeing like people who would just and again, every artist is different, but I was seeing people who were doing headshots, and I was like, man, I don't know. I want something that's gonna kind of push me. I want to see how far I can push myself with these. So what I did was I started looking at sketch cards like storyboards, because I was doing storyboards. I was doing keyframes, storyboards, TV boards, which are the same thing, but for advertising agencies, you're doing TV boards for TV commercials and stuff like that. And then for sometimes you have to do keyframes. And so anyway, they were still in the same wheelhouse, just like you think about this. This is a frame. This could be a storyboard, and then there'll be another one over here where I show a different kind of action scene. You do a cut, a swipe, or whatever. I know, look at my terminology all coming out. So I looked at it and I started approaching it from that standpoint, but then I still was like, man, I don't know. I was almost like trying to not talk myself out of not really pushing myself. And then I start seeing guys like, there's this guy named Nar, and I always forget Nar's full name. And hopefully if he's watching, forgive me for it. But Nar is probably like the tremendous. That dude is on point. His work is like insane. Other guys like Lachlan. Lachlan did multiple characters, but he would do these full out renderings, these full scenes. Another person I can think of off the top of my head was Roy Cover. Roy Cover, I seen a lot of his work. Bigger pieces, but then he started doing a lot of sketch stuff. But they were doing stuff not just like just a headshot. They were doing full on body images and full out scenes. And I was like, whoa, when I saw that, I'm like, whoa, I guess I gotta get my game up. And so that's what happened, and that's what happens with me. Like, again, I guess that's my more competitive side of me, where I see somebody who's doing something tremendous, and I go, man, what are you doing, Frank? You sleeping? I actually get more upset at myself. I don't look at somebody else and go, oh my God, they're so great, I can never be like that. No, I don't think like that. I go, man, I gotta get my game up. What's your game? This brother or sister. Another person too was Sana. Oh, is it Sana Yu? Sana Yu, which kills me to this day. I remember purchasing some of her original art, and I had like some Wonder Woman stuff, and I went through a bad spell. That's a whole nother story. And again, as any collector knows, eventually when times get rough, the most painful things you got to resell. And I ended up selling those pieces, and now that's so painful. But she's tremendous. She's another person who did these full-out scenes. Oh, there's so many. I mean, my brain's like rattling. I'm very fortunate that I was able to commission a lot of different arts that I liked, and I still have a lot of their sketch card stuff. So But again, every artist is different, you know. So what I say is really from my own perspective. I don't think that anyone should ever try to, you know, if you know, do something where you're not comfortable in doing. You know, you have to have your own voice. I'm very adamant on that. Every artist out there has to have their own voice. All right, how's that looking, Pete? People, talk to me. Let's see. I don't know if I should let me see, refresh it. It says I got 10 comments in here. All right, let me take a little swig. That looking good? You guys can still see it? Back to Godzilla and Kong. Well, I again, it was phenomenal. I know people will like. I'm excited. I'll be really excited if they decide, if Bandai or somebody who really does really detailed figures ends up doing a Mecha Godzilla figure. Throw a little bit. I'm a die-cast junkie, so any metal parts just doesn't feel like a robot to me. I mean, I do have some that are, you know, made of. Oh God, what is it? Is it vinyl? Vinyl and stuff, the hard plastic and stuff. I don't know. Look at me. I can't even get the name of it, but anyway. But I still like that feeling of metal. You know, I still got some old school Shogun Warriors figures and stuff like. Something about the metal just makes it brings it all home to me that it's a robot. So it'd be nice if they can you know, they decide to maybe make a really cool Mechagodzilla, because Mechagodzilla didn't even bother me. I thought Mechagodzilla was pretty good. You know, again, I love the fact that they didn't copy the 1971. I don't think that, you know, the whole point of when you're creating stuff, it shouldn't have to be. It's like I don't want to watch a comic book on the screen. I'm personally would like to see something, you know, tweaked. Me and James talked about the fact that Robot God Akamatsu. We said, hey, if somebody ever did Robot God Akamatsu, we're gonna be like, go ahead. See what happens. See what they can do. We have the comic, you know. The comic exists. That, you know, we can do anything we want. But if they can take it and do something interesting, then fine, do it. And more power to it. More power. I just don't get all crazy about that stuff. Look at that. These are really great. These liners. Look at that. All right. I'm flying. I don't know about the rest of you, but man, I'm killing it on this, man. Let's see. Ever try rapidograph? Yes, I used to use rapidographs, Connor, back in the day. This is when I was in art school. Back when I was in art school, and I hated them. Rapidographs used to get stuck with the ink, man. I'd be shaking them. I would have ink explosions. I wish that I still kept my rapidographs just for, like, you know, nostalgic sake. But no, I'm very happy that they, I don't even know, do they still make rapidographs? I just know that they were a nightmare. I know that I had a lot of ink accidents. All right, so here, I'm going to show you guys another little technique that I learned. Now this is before digital really came in. Now mind you, when I did advertising work, in advertising, it is about speed, but also your work's got to look quality work. It's got to look good. So the thing is that we would go to the agency, and you're very fortunate. I don't even know if there's many agencies out there that still have even like a studio for illustrators. I don't know, but back then it was an illustrator studio and stuff. So illustrators like myself would have an area to work, and then other people who did production would have a place to work and such and such. So anyway, I was introduced to dies. So right now I'm using my Copics. These are the Copic dies and Q-tips. And it's funny because the Q-tips that I'm using are, I was using regular Q-tips with the more bulbous point, but then I found these right here, precision tips. Yeah, look at that. Hopefully this won't get slammed because of Q-tips and whatever, but I found those and I actually like these a lot better because they have a sharper point somewhat. So anyway, in advertising, we would do things called spot coloring, which I love spot coloring. Spot coloring is just like you come down, you're not overthinking color. You're just going boom, 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 boom. Your key job is to make the artwork just pop enough so that when they do the presentation to whoever their client is,
the client looks at it and their eyes immediately can sort of go, okay, boom, I can see this as an ad, ad for TV ad or for print ad or whatever. So that was our job. Our job was to make something pop out. And I remember being inundated with some of the most amazing, most expensive dyes ever. I mean, God, what was the name of some of those? I don't know, the Dr. Martens, but these were like super. These were like the precursors to Copic, and they were very toxic. You needed to have a very well ventilated room. So anyway, there definitely was some highness going on there. Just saying. But yes, I learned how to color with these. Now I still have Copic markers, but I just love these. Come in, you just dab a little bit. A little bit right there. Not wasting anything. Hit it up. There you go. Boom. Looking good. And we had a blast. We had a ball doing this. We would the colors would really pop out, especially when we did say like we did some artwork and then we would do a Xerox. Bet you guys don't even know about that. Paste ups when we do layouts and stuff like that. We had to do like paste ups and whew. This is where the point where I think of computers, where I'm very grateful for computers because they have helped in the sense of doing layouts and stuff much more faster. You're able to do changes that are like instantaneous. Like they cuts down the time for when you got to present something to a client is like much more faster. Back then we had to do paste ups. That means that I would go and say like if I had to change how Godzilla look right here size wise, they'd be like, oh yeah, he looks too big. Then I would have to go to the copier, scan them in, go to the copier, and then reduce them down, and then put them on the paper and and put tape on it and stuff, and then and then recopy and then color on the copy. And but I'll tell you one thing: when you colored on the copy, boy, those dyes really popped out, man. I mean, it's very vibrant, and that's and again, when the clients would see that, they'd be like, "Ooh, that's some brightness." I'm a huge fan of the simple, strong color palette. I also like to say that when I worked when I did some work with Jar Animation, that was the animation studio I worked with. I learned a lot from a lot of the animators and stuff there. They actually brought in, I can't remember her name. There was a woman that they brought in who she had done a ton of colors for Disney. Oh, Connor. No genius, man. There's a lot of people that probably still do it. But anyway, I'm glad you saw it, man. Yeah, you definitely got to try it out, bro. But anyway, there was this woman that they brought in. We were working on, a little bit for you. I actually got to work on the Universal. I don't know if anybody's been to Universal theme park. I guess there's the Incredible Hulk ride, and what was the other ride? Dr. Doom. So anyway, Jar Animation actually, they won that bid to do the animation. So I guess when you go on the ride, there's an animated short that you see. It's been a long time, so I don't know if they still have it, but they got hired. So I never forget, we all had to sign our NDAs and stuff like that. But I got to work on that. I remember doing a ton of like designs for Zeppelins and stuff like that. But also, they brought somebody in. They brought this woman in. I want to say, I don't know if it was for that project, but she had done work on with Disney. And oh boy, her colors were like insane. Like her coloring skills were insane. And I'm saying like just hand coloring. Hand straight out coloring. That's a little too strong. It's too strong for what I wanted, but that's okay. And I remember I was in awe of her work. And she just was like boom, 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 very relaxed. She was just like, yeah, you just gotta, just keep it simple. Don't try to overplay it. And that's always been my my belief, especially when I look at my artwork, my artwork is I tend to go with heavy black lines and stuff like that. I never forget when I had the opportunity to there was a New York show. I remember this vivid as day, and I got to see, I saw Jim Lee. I bumped into Jim Lee. He was just he was writing the new stuff and whatever. I remember bumping into him. And I was like, oh, Jim Lee, what's up, man? And something like that. And he was like, what's up? And then I was like, oh, man, I'll let you get some sign. And he just pointed toward this long line. I was like, all right, cool. I guess I won't be getting anything signed. I just kind of laughed. And then I walked over and I saw Mike Mignola. And Mike Mignola, I want to say this might have been before Hellboy. He might have been working at Marvel. But he was the coolest cat. He didn't have that many people around him. And he just was like, hey, what's up? And I showed him my stuff. And he was like, yeah, he's like, I see your potential. You like using a lot of darks. And he told me just to be conscious of negatives and positive and negatives. And I was like, okay. Just a really cool guy, really chill. And then the person who I would say that really had an impact on me was Joe Kubert. Joe Kubert was, as soon as I came over, he put his arm around me like a father, he's just like, hey, how you doing, kid? And he looked at my stuff and he said, oh yeah, he said, yeah, I see some stuff here, there's a lot of potential and such and such. And he just schooled me, And I remember that was just a warm, like a great feeling. Like he was just like, yeah. And this guy, I'm like, man, this guy's a legend. Those little moments that I have, that I remember, that pop up in my head from time to time. I go, yeah, I had a chance to meet these guys. Yeah, definitely cotton swabs. Don't go heavy-handed on it. I would suggest that you take your time, work your way with it. Now, let's see. I'm gonna dab a little bit of you know what I'm gonna do, Ashley? I'm gonna use this blue one. And I'm going to dab a little bit of C3. This is Copic ink. I tell you, Copic inks are really good. Expensive as anything, but they're really good. And color-wise, I mean, they really pop it out. I'm telling the artists out there also, there's a point where you have to be confident about your work. Confidence plays in it too. Now, not to the point where there's a sense of arrogance, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there has to be a level where you have to trust your own capabilities, and that even if you look at something, you go, you get that kind of, because every artist does, you go, remember that you can always do better the next time. Don't labor. I would say don't get so fixated on, oh man, it's not perfect. I see too many artists that say that, man, and then you go, okay, let's see what they're doing, and then 6 months later they're in the same spot, and it's like, no, you got to get over it. You got to move on. John Montero, I saw you out there, bro. You do the layout and I'll do the coloring. Oh man, your coloring. John Montero's like a maniac. I did a lot of work with John, and John is like sick. He's coloring and his dot work. Talking to somebody who is a phenomenal artist. John does, like, I don't know if he still does, but he did scratchboard. I don't know if you youngsters know what scratchboard is. Whew. Incredible. Detail, super detail, insane. It's like I've done some detail work, but I always tell people that if I'm doing comic book work, like again, commercial work where I know it's time, speed, I can't do that, man. Like when I see people do, if you notice when people do detail work, it's like that cuts down their speed. Your speed is going to be like to be that detailed, and at that point, I'm like, man, you either have to be super famous or whatever to be able to be like, yeah, I'll get it to you in 6 months. 6 months to a year. That's like, not everyone's going to be like that. And honestly, I don't know. I mean, I've had my moments. Oh, by the way, I'm using that oldie but goodie. Always counting the Prismacolors. I still got like a drawer full of them. Like I said, I don't waste nothing. You start being your own you be your own boss and stuff. You gotta start thinking about the cost of things, and you go, I gotta make do with what I got, and you make it work. And it's funny because I think that when you think like that, it's amazing what you can come up with. All right, and you're gonna hit that with a little bit in there. This is a joy, man. I gotta admit, I really do enjoy doing commissions like this. These are fun, and I'm on it. Like I don't take anything lightly. I've always been very realistic about my approach to doing what I love and stuff. I never walked into it with these weird, like, you go, oh man, why am I, I've always been somebody who just, oh look, there you go, I got some nice ones. I got these for Christmas. So I just never, I don't know. I always look at it and I go, well, how can I improve on it? There's never the sense where I blame somebody else. I go, no, what can you do, Frank, to do this better? What are you doing? What's happening here? And I find that, I always learn something else about myself and about my work.
Draw those in there. Let's see, these are kind of nice. Let's see what else can I put in here. So I look at him and I'm like, I always look at Godzilla where he it's weird. Like sometimes he have almost a bluish, but then I wanted to. That's that thing where when I was in art school, I remember my teacher. I never forget when my one of my projects. I did a lot of watercoloring back then, and I remember my teacher. I went out and he was like, "Hey Frank, look at those trees." I was like, "Okay." And he said, "What do you see?" And I said, "Oh, I see green trees." And he's like, "Really?" He's like, "You know what I see? I see purples. I see, oranges. I see, and it wasn't even like fall or anything. He just was like trying to impress on me that, that you have to push yourself. There's a lot of different colors going on with certain things, and you just got to kind of build up on them and not get so stuck in one way of thinking and be like, oh, well, it's only green trees. No. There's a lot of colors that go into that. Just like a sunset. You ever look at a sunset? Sure, maybe you have. But there's a lot of purples and all kind of wonderful stuff that's going on. Look at that. Matt, how's everybody doing? You guys still here? Did I bore you already? You're running? Like, I'm out of here, this guy. What is he talking about, this guy? Talk about more Godzilla vs. Kong. Well, with Godzilla vs. Kong, I did do a sketch card. Actually here, for you guys out there. Let's see if I still have it. I'll take a little break, let the artwork breathe a little bit. This is the thing, and you don't know how many people have been contacting me because they want to buy this, but I can't. Yeah, I'll move this aside so you guys can see. This right here was a trade that someone did with me years ago. I can't even recall who the person was. I just remember that they had contacted me, and it must have been in a high point when I was still in doing sketch cards. And they were like, I really like your work, and I'm doing these booklets, and do you like it? And I was like, yeah, I dig it, man, I dig it. And he was just like, well, I like to trade. I'll do two custom ones for you for some original artwork. To do some original art. And I was like, works for me. And this person actually sent me this whole big thing. I mean, it was just crazy. They sent me this whole big thing, and I remember, since it is Godzilla 2014, I would imagine it was during that time then. So I definitely say Godzilla 2014, and this was the card that I did. I finally worked on these. Look at that. You guys like that? That's crazy. I tell you, I don't even know who this person was that did this for me. I have no idea, and no, these are not for sale. But I'm very happy. I'm happy that I got them. I'm very honored that these are all I hand did these and stuff like that. Very honored that somebody liked my work enough to be like, hey, I want to do something like this. So, and then he did me another one. I said I would like the Shogun Warriors. So there's that classic. Look at that picture. I mean, this person did it. Look at that. I don't know how they did it. Laminated it. And for the longest time, I didn't even touch these. And then finally, I just was like, I got to do something with these. So this year, I actually did something. There you go. How's that? Look at those colors. All right. So I thought that'd be a nice little intermission. It is something. It's definitely when someone comes along, they go, oh yeah, I want to do something, whatever. It's almost like the evolution of art. Like another thing I also did too was patch art. I don't know if you guys know anything about that, but patch art is, let's see if I got anything. Hold on a second, if you don't mind. Let's see. I'll bring on my patch. I'm just taking a little break to let the artwork kind of breathe. I did this before, a long time ago. Let's see what I got. Make sure it's appropriate. Okay. Yeah, I guess I can show these to you guys. Alright, I'll move this for a second. Let that breathe some more. I like to let the artwork breathe a little bit, give it a little rest before I decide to add any extra stuff. This right here is there's my name. I had that done and brought it. But this is a patch portfolio. And these patches are all ones that I drew. I was commissioned, except this one. But I was commissioned. This one actually has like a fur kind of thing on it. But I was commissioned by clients to do artwork, and then they, through the magic of patch making, made these patches. And then they sent me a comp patch
which I'm very grateful for. So I have 3 books, mind you. So I worked on a lot of different patches. All right, here's another one. This Crockett and Tubbs. This was pretty cool. These are all original characters that I did. Look at that one. It's crazy that they were able to get all that detail. This was a Godzilla and Kong. Even before the Godzilla versus Kong, there was this concept that I was talking with Patchmaker about. Same thing with the Transformers too, for like a series of patches, custom patches. Yeah, I think I got a few of these still lying around. If anyone's interested, hit me up. Got a few of them though. They're very limited, you know. Because they just didn't go anywhere. So, and then let's see. I'm trying to make sure because there was some that I did that were not appropriate for showing. So, just want to make sure. This was one. That looks weird now. I look at that one. I really wish that this one could have been bigger. I was really hoping that the Patchmaker would make this one bigger. But yeah, vehicles. I did a lot of vehicle stuff when I was in advertising. Surprisingly, as a guy who didn't want to draw vehicles and environments and stuff like that when I was art school, when I got into advertising, you know, I just was like, okay. I started doing a lot of trucks and stuff like that. But yeah, this was kind of cool. This was a concept Godzilla vehicle. A few patches of those. I got this one. It was a shark one. Monster truck. Pretty cool. This is one of my earliest ones that I did. That was cool. I didn't do these. I did not do these. I didn't do this one. I didn't do that. Did I do this? No. I don't remember doing that one. No. Oscar Mayer truck. Oh yeah, this was really cool. Somebody commissioned me to do Dragon Ball Z. Did the dragon. Look at that. It's pretty cool, huh? And then they got the balls. I did this. This is really cool. This was a mashup, and they wanted Tony Stark, but then also do it like he wanted it to be like Game of Thrones. So a mashup between Game of Thrones and Tony Stark. Just take a quick little look. Okay. Yeah. It's a weird character. Yep. I think this person there, they wanted me to do a Mickey Trump. I did this one. This was really cool. Did I? Yeah. Did I do that? Yeah, I think I did this. Yeah. I think I did this one. This was nice. Actually, I like this. This is like a Deadpool. Hope you guys can see it. And this was like Boba Fett mixed with Deadpool. God, I can't. I think it was. I think it was mixed with Deadpool. This was cool. I did that. Bruce and Logan, and that was a patch. I did that one. Oh, that's one of the ones. Yeah, I can't show that one, but yeah, there you go. All right, intermission over. That's nice too. So again, it's like I try to tell people as artists is that you gotta understand that the art industry is very vast, and that excuse me, just don't limit yourself. You know, don't limit yourself. It's not too bad. Look at that. Look at the back of that. Not too much the color bleeding through. It's actually my baby picture, man. It's so funny. When I would go to cons, I had a massive blow up of it. It was one of those things where, and that's the thing, when you work in advertising, I learned so much from all these wonderful like copywriters and just people working there. And it showed me the power of marketing. And I think a lot of artists suffer. And when I say creative people, I say writers too. Just I lump you all into it because we're all creative folk. That marketing is a key thing, that you need to really think about what your brand is. You are a brand. I consider myself a brand. And so one of the things, I remember when I was thinking of something that would showcase to people, like when you go to cons and stuff, I said, you know, you're inundated with all these people showing their action figures and drawings of their characters and whatever, and they'll have their name written down or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And I said, well, Frank, what kind of message what do you feel is going to be something where you can engage people about? And stuff, and almost tell a story about yourself. And then I sat there and I looked at my baby picture and I said, well, there's my story. And then I photoshopped, you know, these you know, pencil in my hand and the micron, and I put a couple little sketches. I had one time where I had a bunch of them in there and a little inkwell, And I tell you, people love it, you know. And then actually, Jess actually did one. My wife Jess, she did one of herself too, because I felt that it's engaging. It shows people that this, my being an artist, was something that came from here. There's a story right there. This is a story, and I'm sitting here now, and I'm still on that journey. So it was very effective, and I think that one of the things you got to think about, especially if you're getting into this industry, is that you should be very mindful of you as a brand. What are you as a brand? What are you trying to tell people about yourself? You know, are you just a character that you've created, and you're saying, okay, well, this is, people just know me as this character, or are you, you know, something else, and you should be, you know, conscious of that. All right, now that I've let it dry a little bit, I'm gonna come over it and just kind of, you know, this is that stage where I remember my teachers always told me, where the blessing stage, where you gotta kind of let go. You can't overthink stuff and start adding too much stuff, because then it's like you don't want to hurt it. There's not going to be one ever a piece where I don't put the Kirby crackle in. It just doesn't happen. Let's strengthen that line a little bit. We'll fade it. Okay, hit it with a little bit of right there. Okay. I see banging this out a lot faster. I was like prepping myself going, oh man, it's gonna take a long. But then I forget that Godzilla's pretty much a he's got almost a one note kind of color scheme, you know, so you don't really have to go crazy. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of Copic blue down in here. Yeah, and I'll probably hit it with some white just to fill it out, so it's not as sort of hovering in there. Some blues. Okay. All right. How's everybody doing? Everybody doing good? Let me see. In terms of market, I made a few conscious decisions when it comes to one being only printed in green plastic. That way you know what's in the data. There you go. I like that. I like that, Connor. Yeah, good. That's it. You know, it's you really, people gotta focus on strategy. You know, that's one of the things I learned, and the fact that just being conscious. One of the things that I did when I first started was I listened a lot. I listened to a lot of different people. You know, every little bit. I learned to. Sometimes you got to filter things out. Of course, you know, it's one of those things where you sit there and you go, does this work for me? You know, maybe it doesn't work for me. Or maybe this works. That's up to you. You have to sort of decide on what works for you, and then, you know, to help you get to where you want to get to. But I will tell you this, you know, and I'll tell anybody like that. The art industry is one of those industries where you, as much as you think you could try to do this by yourself, you can't. One of the first rules my teacher once said is that you don't want to burn bridges. You want to be somebody who can work with different people. And sure, fine. There may come a circumstance where somebody you may not be able to work with, but you don't want to be in a situation where you're the one that's seen as, you know, yeah, this person's the one who caused this or whatever. No, you don't want to be that. You really want your work to speak for itself. And I was always hardwired in that sense. Like Frankie B, this is, you know, I'm the person, yeah, but I want my work to speak for mine. That's why you're hiring me. You're hiring me for my work, my capability to do it, to do something, to do the job. Just want to say, just in case anybody's interested, is that these jams were like actually ones that were on YouTube, royalty free. Oh, I love them, man, because you know they're just simple. They're just simple. All right, this is that point where I gotta try not to overdo. All right, come on. Give me something. Do a little dabble in there, brighten that eye up a little bit. Put some. Go in here and boost it up.
Yeah, the Ultraman set's going to be pretty fun. Yes, I agree, Connor. That's why I say they'll always be having my logo stamped into the foot. Yeah, and I think that you have to be consistent too. I think that sometimes, again, when people post, they're not engaging people. They're not, you got to be out there and you got to engage people, and you got to, you got to be able to put work out there, and constantly. This is something where you treat this as work, because it is. I mean, being a freelance artist is like 24/7, in my opinion. It never ends. There's always, the hustle's always going to be strong, because the thing is that I'm in competition with how many other thousands of other freelance artists that are doing stuff, and who's got skin in the game for many years, like myself. I mean, that's, you think about that. Think about the amount of individuals who've been in the game already. You're putting in like 30 years, man. I remember my teacher scared me too when I was in art school, because he was just like, he said, to be a really good artist, it's gonna take you like 20 years. When I said that, my eyes dropped, and I'm in my 20s, so clearly that wasn't what I wanted to hear, because it seems like it's forever. You go, oh my God, did you just tell me, man, what am I, 20 years? And you know what? He was right. He was absolutely right. I think it took a solid, I think that if you put a solid 15 to 20 years into it, then I think that then you're really at that point where you kind of know where you're heading. You'd be like, okay, I got this. And then after that, then it's like, there's tweaks. And the tweaks would be like, sense of technology. When technology came in, you had a lot of people that transitioned into more digital work and whatever. Or you had guys like myself, who are still traditional, but I do some digital stuff, my coloring, but, still traditional. So you got that in between and there and stuff like that. So it varies. But yeah, you got to put some time in, man. But I knew that. I knew that when I was first starting out. I was like, I knew that it wasn't going to be something like how somehow I'm going to be this kid who comes in and all of a sudden be blowing people away and stuff. No. There's people been in this game. They've been in the game for a longer period than I have. And so I had to respect that. And then from respecting that, I learned a lot from them. I learned how to navigate. John Montero's somebody who's been in the game far longer than I have, and I learned so much, his levels of wisdom, just by listening, just our talks. People always feel like sometimes, I've always been a person who just by listening, and the small conversations that you have with people, there's a lot of wisdom that can be attained from stuff, but you got to be a point where you open yourself to listening. If you don't listen, then you might be missing out on some great information that might be able to help you. All right, let's see. I'm gonna do now. I signed on the back here, but I'm gonna sign up here too. Put like a little bit in there, a little bit of debris. All right. I don't even know what time it is. What time is it? Let me look at my clock. 9:45. It's not bad, man. I'm killing it. All right. Let me just add some debris and stuff like that and chop it up. Not bad, huh? It's not bad for a color sketch card, huh? You guys would be happy for a card like this, right? There's always been that thing, that part of me where I always felt like, any kind of work that I put out, I want to be the work that I would be proud to get. I look at it like that. I go, would this be something that I'd want? Well, I had a art director. No, not art director. Excuse me, director. The same director was at the when I was working at Olive Jar, and he said that. He said, Frank, you should think in the terms of like, you sat down to watch a movie with storyboards, and he said, ask yourself, would this be something that you would watch? Like, look, if I looked at my storyboards, and pretty much what he's saying is, if I looked at my storyboards, and would I watch my storyboards if they were filmed? And I always think like that. So when I'm drawing sequential pages for comic books and stuff, I think and go, yeah, would I watch this? And be honest with yourself. Would you really watch this? Would you sit down and spend money to watch this? But you have to be honest, though. You can't just come in and be like, oh yeah, whatever. No.
All right. Whew. I don't even know what else to do. You know what? Maybe a little. See, this is where the problem's gonna happen. I'm gonna hit this with just a little bit of line just in here, just to pump this out. Too dark. That's why it's always good to test. When you test lightly, just go right in the stay in the black, because you can't fail. And you just pump it out just a little bit, not too much. Doesn't seem like much, but in the scheme of things, yeah, you add that extra blue, it just really makes it pop. All right. I gotta contact now. You contact the client and say, okay, give me your mailing. I need your. Gotta send this off to you. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. Oh, that's too much white right there. Some blue in there. Some blue right there. What else? Nothing else. I can't think of anything else. I think this is a wrap. There you go. Let me see these windows. Let me put a little bit crazy. Damn you, Nar. You're super detailed. You're forcing me to put these little windows in. Yeah, it's looking too big. Get a little line into it. There you go. Good for that bottom one in there, huh? Don't mind the talking. This is what I do. This is like the normal. When I'm sitting there and I'm starting making noises and stuff. Ooh, monster sounds. Making tons of creature noises as I'm working on these character sketches for Kajis and Cowboys. All right, what do we got here? You guys are digging that? You liking that? Let's see. Maybe I'll show you guys. Yeah, because I think I blew past my time. Oh, here you go. Here's some unfinished cards stuff that I got. So I'm gonna move the Godzilla side. These are some cards that I got from Alterna Comics, sketch cards, and it's nice. Did a good job. They have almost the same consistency of like my cards. They're very thin and stuff. But yeah, this was Frankengore. This was a character that popped up. It came out on Wednesday, which is available through Alterna Comics, and I did this with John Freeman. It's definitely an homage to King Kong Escapes, that kind of thing, that character. And so I did like I was working on it, and then I kind of stopped. So there you go. That's boom, that guy. And then that's the recent story came out with Mecha Kongor. Ugh. And then I was telling somebody that you could tell a Frankie B piece because I always try to slip a small little helicopter in there. And I blame that again on the Showa era, Godzilla movies. You ever watch them, you always see a helicopter. You always see some helicopter somewhere. And I love the helicopters because they were clearly toy helicopters. So they had no real distinct style or anything, which is great. They weren't based off of like real helicopters. Sometimes, but I think probably later on when they went to the the millennia stage, then they started getting more like detailed and stuff with their model building. But yeah, so I got those. Let's see what else I got in here. This is all like unfinished stuff because I'm always bouncing off into something else. I'll show you guys some of my other cards. I got this guy. Got this back. This is my Marvel stuff. This isn't official. Now this is when I first came on. I spoke about the official sets. How these would be much more expensive. I try to tell people that because these are one of a kind. And this was one where I was on a set. I did for Upper Deck. I don't know if you can see it. It's Upper Deck 2012 Marvel Premiere, and it's Ant-Man versus. Oh, I always say his name wrong. Annihilus. He's from the Fantastic Four. So what happened was I did this piece right here. It's a Marvel Premiere card. So I did this piece with the classic Ant-Man costume. And he looks like he's about to do this massive punch. And then you flip it open. And it's like boom. I wanted to show like then it's almost like in my head I was thinking like the camera suddenly pulls back and you see that there's Ant-Man right there, but he's just did this massive punch on Annihilus. Yeah, so close up and pull the camera back. Yeah, it's a nice piece. So I got that one. Nice little case here. Let's see what else. Still got some of these Dinosaur Galaxy cards. I don't know if people remember these. I still got these. A few of these, I guess. Blanks. I was working on these, and then I just got pulled away. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. This was a card set that came out. Animation tribute sketches. So I had a couple of these, and I was working. This was a Mazinga Z. So I was working on. Started, and then there's a Koji Kabuto. He's punching one of the I forgot those foot soldiers were Baron Ashla's Baron Ashora's foot soldiers and stuff. And then I did one with Baron Ashura, and then she has her mech in the background being prepared on. And then this one was, oh man, I can't recall what this is. I feel like this was the prototype. I think I was basing these designs off of the new Mazinga movie. So these are still sitting. These are really a thicker cardstock and stuff, so they're pretty cool. So gotta get eventually on those. Oh, hold on a second. Yeah, this one's a nice one. That was Dr. Hell. He's one of my favorite characters. I like Dr. Hell. And I was doing this picture where he's kind of like, probably want to show it like he's sort of cradling the Earth, and you get the universe, the moon right there, and the galaxy, and then you got the two major ones, Thresh to Mazinga Z. This was cool. This was a trading card that I did for BotCon 20th anniversary. Official BotCon. So trading card. Now let's see. Here's another one that's loose. BotCon 20th anniversary. Oh, flip that over. So there you go. Let's see what else. History of comics. Oh, yeah, here's a classic one from my... Yeah, remember I mentioned, was this Dynamite? Project Superpowers? Year 1 Trading Card Series, Frankie B. Washington, 28 of 50. Limited edition hand-drawn sketch card by Frankie, so 28 of 50. The Scarab. So that was my Scarab. And as you can see, I was doing colored pens and stuff at that time. It's a cool character. But I was loving doing these kind of scene scenarios. I just felt like, you know, when you get these cards, they should be all be like these scenarios. Actually, I guess I can show these because I've already been showing them online. But here's my Ultraman. These are my artist proof cards. You see that? It's a fun set. This one, this one right here. I immediately, when I first was when we told me about it, I had this vision in my head. I just wanted to show various martial arts moves. I had it already in my head. I said I gotta go with it. And then I like this character right here, Coronia AP card 1. Let's see, AP card. Okay. So I saw that character and I said I want to do a transformation scene. He turns into this giant plant guy and he's blasting a building. And then what's this? Mummy Man, Dodongo plus Ultraman. So when Mummy Man dies, then this giant guy comes out of him. And again, I'm not a hardcore like know everything about Ultraman, but you know, I definitely learned a lot more than working on the set. Let's see. I still got some Honey West AEs. It's so funny sometimes that you just dig through these and it's just like these old cards pop up. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. This was a BotCon sketch card that I did. These are the old school ones, yeah. This was a puzzle card that I did for BotCon. It was BotCon 2011. I love the Optimus Primal and Megatron. I would say that's pretty much a Godzilla versus Kong kind of thing. Yeah. 2011. So hand drawn. Again, I don't want anybody to think that these are printed trading cards. These are printed trading cards. This is a printed trading card. You could tell, you know, but these are hand drawn sketch cards. So there you go. And then oh yeah, this is an old one too. I did that years ago, 2011. Oh, here's one. Mayhem Returns. And then this was a printed trading card, BotCon. Then Female Persuasion card, 2010. That was from Fifinity Productions, Stephen Frank. Okay. And then here's another Marvel card I have, Marvel Beginning. I always loved Power Pack, so I did Kofi, 2011. I like that. But again, you can see how I use those lines and stuff in there. I always love it. I just felt that it just gives much more energy, pizzazz to it. So he's teleporting. I don't know if you can read it pretty good. He's technically I wanted to show a scene where he's going into his teleportation and he's popping up right here. Alright. And there's another Female Persuasion card, 2010. Persuasion. That's like she's about to. Oh yeah, Fifinity. I always try to sneak little things in there. She has a giant wrench. I can't recall what I feel like this was part of a puzzle piece, but it's a saucer blown up with plane. 2013. So yeah, there you go. These are like stuff that other cards that are sort of laying around. And then some that I definitely want to try to jump on. All right. So hey, all right. Hey, I don't know. Does anyone have any questions or anything? Or so I would love to do a Megatron. I think you should go ahead, Connor. I'm actually looking at stuff now. So yeah, I think that many times we artists tend to I think overthink stuff. And I think that sometimes you just gotta go for it, man. I've always been actions speak louder than words kind of person. You know, all the talking in the world won't mean nothing until you actually are gonna put that first foot, through the door. You won't find out what's on the other side unless you do it. So I say go for it, man, and see what happens. Yeah, make it happen, man. Other things, Boma. Yeah, there you go. I think this is the time. This is the time for any indie people out there, creators, writers, artists, artisans, builders, whatever. This is the time right now to really, you have a chance to get, what you're doing out in front of thousands, if not millions of eyes. Don't let fear, and let's be honest, that saying in Dune, fear is the mind killer. That's true. Don't let something like that stop you from getting out there, getting your work out there in front of it. Because, as I'm getting older, I've become much more mindful of my as I'm aging. And so the thing is that there's that creeping side of me where I'm thinking, like, what's going to be the next generation of artists? What are they going to do? Are they going to do something that's going to be phenomenal? Are we going to see, because I got to live and still living, living through a period where I got to experience some of the most tremendous artwork from some of the giants of the industry and stuff like that. Many of them aren't here anymore. So when I draw stuff, I think in the terms of what legacy do I leave? I still feel that my kind of style is something that's necessary for the youngsters out there and just people now to see, because it is a callback to the time that I grew up in, and that would be like the late 70s into the 80s and stuff like that. So I know that my style has a place and has a significance. You have to look at that in that same degree and say, look, what am I bringing to the table? And I feel like everyone's bringing something to it. Well, those people that are following through and getting it done, those people are bringing stuff to the table. All right. I don't know. I think this might be it then, man. I just want to say, hey, thank you everyone for coming on by and stuff. Oh man, I feel almost cheap. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for it. I'll try to. I'm gonna cover up Frank and Gore, and then I'm gonna step out and wrap this up. All right. I'm not gonna cheat you guys out of just one sketch card coloring. This one's a pretty fun one. So what I'm gonna do is let's see what kind of colors I'm going. I'm not sure, like he's screaming, like he's raging and stuff. Oh, I got these so tight in here. All right, here we go. Let's pull out the old trusty Copic. I got these on my Christmas 2020. So grateful. Put a little thing. I love playing with color, so I'm gonna have this more like it's I don't know, maybe sunset, sunrise. Let's see. I don't want it to be too bright. Let's throw some more colors down on here. All right, let's put that in there. I'm gonna wash it. I'm gonna wash it all in that nice monochromatic, and then I'll work down. Just dabble a little bit. Frank Gore's a really cool character, man. It's a really cool, fun character. Let's see. But I'm not gonna lie, my headspace now is really into kajus and cowboys. It really is. I'm getting so geared and excited to just be working on stuff and showcase a lot of the new creations that I'm working on. You know, it feels good. It feels good to be back in the comic book game. You know, for a long time I thought I would never get back into it. I mean, it's tough. It's a tough kind of thing because you're like, I love comics, but you know, I'm doing very well. You know, doing the other stuff that I'm doing, but still, there's that passion for comics that I do love. Do a little bit of. Now I gotta remember, it was almost reddish. It's a little brown. Let's hit that. I see, I made it a lot more reddish. So I gotta figure out how I made, what red did I use? Let me see if I can pull out. This is gonna be the point where you guys are gonna be hearing me muttering a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna really, because I'm one of those people where I talk while I'm trying to figure it all out, you know? My brain's trying to process. Let's see what this is. Let's see. Yeah, that's cool. That'll work. I can work with this. I think that I was originally when I was doing this, I wanted to redden it up a little bit, so let's do this and add some red in there. Yeah, there you go. All right, the sea creature. Just gonna keep it kind of. Let's see. I like that blue, but I want to give it a little gray. Let's see what this is. I really want him to sort of pop out. That's a warm gray. I don't want warm gray. I do not want a warm gray. Let's go see what we got here. Pull that out. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
All right. Yeah, because he's gray. I gave him like a warm skin. So I gotta put some. You guys still in there? You still watching? If I'm gonna refresh it to see if there's any more comments. All right. Look at Connor, man. Yeah, dude. I love it, man. Please, everybody, feel free. Don't be intimidated. Please, you feel like you want to make a comment or whatever, you want to ask a question, by all means. I think that's the first thing about it is I always tell any artists out there and just creative is that you got to overcome any kind of fears that you have in approaching people and talking to them. You know, before the wonderful interweb, you know, I actually had to go and meet people. You know, that's like back in the day where you had to go and you actually meet somebody and talk to them and stuff like that. And yeah, maybe sometimes it didn't work. Maybe I didn't ever hear anything else from them. But you know what? It built something up in me where I just got this personality where I was like, you know, hey, you know, I got to do this. I can't be there and be gun shy. You can't be shy all the time. You got to kind of go out there and be like, hey. So feel free if there's a question that you have, I'll definitely answer it best I can. You know, I won't say I'm the most knowledgeable of artists out there. I'm definitely. Sometimes I think about what kind of artist I am, and I guess I'm more of a. I don't know. I think I'm more of just somebody who's sort of a cheerleader, kind of like I'm there and be a motivator, like in a sense. But there's a lot of stuff I don't even know. I'm still learning stuff. I don't know. I guess I'll read up on that. I'm constantly reading up on things or whatever. If I don't know something, I just read up on it. If I hear somebody, if I happen to come across a post or something and see somebody chatting about something, I go, okay, well maybe I'll put that in my notes and look that up or whatever. It fascinates me. But I definitely don't get so pulled in where it's like I can't do anything else. Where it's like, oh my God, I'm only focused on this. No, that's one thing you won't catch me doing. Always trying to. Let's see. All right. Oh yeah. Dabbles here. Oh, that was too bright. All right, we'll fix that. It's okay. It's a little too bright for what I'm looking for. That's okay. That's okay. We're gonna make this right. Gotta figure out a way. Make it work. Make it work. Anytime I do stuff like that, I go, oh man. I think of like my various teachers. They're just like, don't freak out. It's not the end of the world, you know. And then all of a sudden, I lay down. I go, you know what? That works. That works. I like that. The color scheme we're trying to go for is like this kind of underwater kind of. So you mix a little bit of aqua greens in there. So the good thing about these is that they blend really good. I think I'm gonna go a little some more orange. I know everything's all dropping. Let's see. All right. Any other guy would you like to work on? At this point, I like to work on my own. Yeah, I think at this point it's like I'm getting the bug where I just want to create my own independent, you know, work on. Well, again, kajus and cowboys, which is, you know, in the description. I want to work on that. You know, I think that the fandom has to be open to the fact of newer stuff coming out. You know, as much as we all like Godzilla, as much as we like all these different things, you know, I'm not saying that we get rid of them. By no means. They're going to be around. Those are legacy characters. But we also have to be open to newer stuff so that those things possibly could become legacy. You know, could you imagine what happened? I don't know if a lot of people out there know who Spawn is, but that character has now made it into the, you know, I consider a legacy like character. It's been around for a minute, so I think people kind of know the character. You may not know everything about the character, but it survived enough so that it's like it is knowledgeable. So, you know, and I'm glad, I'm very we should all be very happy that someone like Todd McFarlane was able to create such a character that has that level of strength to be able to maintain, to be able to still hang around. And and look, at Spawn does not affect Batman. Spawn does not affect Superman or the X-Men or Wolverine or any of those characters. It still has its own space. So theoretically, yeah, I would love to, be able to, that Kajus and Cowboys could turn into something pretty good. I know that me and Matthew worked on another short story that appeared in Alterna, which was Team KS1, and that again dealt with Kajus as well. So, yeah. If I was to engage the fantasy, and I would say like the fanboy side of it, for me, after one concept would be kind of fun. I've always said, like, if Marvel was like, oh yeah, you know what would you want to work on? I'd be like, yeah, I like to work on a Red Ronin, where he's in another, like, they have their own universe, where giant robots and Kajus exist, and Red Ronin would be in there. Devil Dinosaur would be in it, but I would love to tweak them up, make them my own. Yeah. If Marvel was like, yeah, go ahead, create a whole new universe where giant robots, sort of like the Children Warriors and stuff, are kind of still around. But Red Ronin would be, in my mind, the super robot in that universe. He'd be like the Mazinga Z of that universe. And Devil Dinosaur and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that would be my fanboy, like, oh yeah, But overall, I'm at that place now where I just want to kind of work on my, something, be able to be part of something where it's like, oh wow. But again, that's gonna wholly lie in the hands of the fans. Gamera would probably be another one, I suppose. Yeah, Gamera, the flying turtle. Love Gamera. I don't know. I'm not putting a little hope. My hope is solely dwelling on Gamera. I don't know. I don't know if Gamera ever will. That's that whole thing where with rights, when other people, they own these rights and stuff. I'm kind of like, I'm really hoping that when the MonsterVerse, when they finally can come down off of the high that they're on right now with the Godzilla stuff, that they really consider doing their own characters and create other stories just based on original creatures that they have, and see if they have that strength, longevity on it. Because when you're beholden to corporations because of licensing IPs and stuff like that, it can be a hassle, man. Whatever happened to that Guy King supposed film, it's frustrating. So original work. I look to the fandom and say, look, if you see people out there doing stuff that's indie, give it a chance. I don't think you're gonna have to break the bank over it. Just give it a chance. You may actually find something that's enjoyable. I finished reading. There's a few that I just got. Oh man, what's the name of it? It's escaping me. It's so good too. Ultra Mega. I don't know if anyone out there. I'm saying that right now. Man, I love Kaiju Max is another one. So please check out Kaiju Max. But boy, Ultra Mega. Whew, that's insane. Oh my God. I read that and I was like, whoa. I was like, all right, man, I'm ready. You got me. So well done. Would love. I mean, it's really well done. Really interesting take. The funny part though is like I'm seeing a lot of people that I can tell are heavily influenced by Ultraman. And I'm happy to see that Ultraman made it to Marvel. But I think that opens up, it creates a good open area for guys like what me and Matthew are doing. Because I think that we're going down a different kind of avenue, but still having Kajus. And possibly giant robots. Wink, wink. Wink, wink. Giant robots won't be too far away. All right. Whew. All right, let's see what we got here. All right. Just hit it in there.
just like going over and over. All right. I don't really want to hit it with too much. There's that point. I think I'm gonna bless this one. This one is done deal. Yeah, bleeds through. All right, not too much though. Yeah, I already did on the back, so I'm not gonna. Yeah, I think I'm good. I'm gonna let this one go. All right. So here you go. So I colored this one up real quick. This one was a commission. This was a commission card. And it's going to be heading off. Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah, Ultra Mega is definitely really good. And yeah, the Marvel Monster Island, huh? Okay. All right, I'll do a lookout for that. Well, it looks like I'm done. This commission is done. And then eventually I'll get around to coloring up this guy over here. And hey, and then I just colored this one up. So anyway, I'd like to just thank everyone for coming on by and checking out my my live drawing, draw stream. And hey, again, right in the post, I have the links to my YouTube channel, which, you know, it's always appreciated. Go on, check it out. If you like it, subscribe. If you don't subscribe. It's cool. But please feel free to comment if you don't like something. If you like something, please, I like to hear it. And then also I have the link for the pre-launch page for the Kajus and Cowboys Kickstarter. You know, this is going to be one for the fans. Definitely an homage to the old school Showa era Godzilla kind of fun. But also, you know, the way Matthew writes is a very, you know, poignant kind of action kind of story and stuff like that. So, hey. It's going to be dropping, we're going live next month, so keep your eyes open. And I guess that's it. Me, I got to get back to some other work. But thanks again for dropping by and checking it out. Thank you again for those that have shared. Connor, man, you're just like talking, man. I love it, man. So thank you so much. And you keep up. Don't, you know, I'm telling you right now, man, one of the saddest things for me that breaks my heart all the time is when people who are too talented, so talented, and they just don't follow through. Follow through, keep doing, get out there, make it happen. You know, you have to get tough on yourself. It's almost like having a drill sergeant in your head saying, make it done, get it done. Don't get into the excuse and it's that place where it's constantly excuses. You know, this is the opportunity right now for you to really get your work out there and do it. And I say that not just to you or to anyone else out there, but I say it to myself every single day. In my mind, I'm constantly like, you know, the drill sergeant is constantly going, you know, hey, get your sleep, get your rest. Make sure that you're on point. Make sure that you're out there. Make sure you're showing your stuff. Make sure you're talking to people. Make sure that this is getting done. You can play later, get it done. No excuse, get it done. It's constant. It's like this voice is always constant in my head. And you know what? Once I get it done, then yeah, I can have fun, you know. And I do have fun, you know. So I don't want people to think that I'm over here and just like it's crazy. I've actually mellowed out a lot. When I was back in my 20s and stuff, on the grind, as I call it, my health was horrible, and I definitely was putting myself through a strain. There was times when I went, I was hospitalized and stuff like that, just because I wasn't taking care of myself. I was living that fast life, not getting enough sleep, constantly on the go, putting a lot of stuff that, there's a point where you can enjoy stuff, and there's a point when you can be too excessive about it. So I had no control on that. And so as I've gotten older, I've learned to get much more balanced and mindful of the balance that I need to maintain myself. So anyway, with that said, keep that art flowing and this creativity strong. All right? Till the next time. Peace.